After nearly half a decade of lackluster growth, 2020 saw a total of 408 Kickstarter video campaigns meet their goals, with them raising a total of $23 million, a figure that's up 35% year on year, as video games are seemingly once again flourishing on Kickstarter. Welcome again to Get Indie Gaming, where in this video, we're showing off and showcasing some of the best and most excellent looking games seeking funding via Kickstarter this May 2021. Up first, and in no particular order, we have Blue, which by the time this video goes up will nearly have completed its campaign, with it successfully having bettered its fundraising goal of 18,000 euros, which is roughly around the 22,000 US dollar mark. As perhaps you can tell with the footage that's on screen, Blue is a 2.5D ninja Metroidvania inspired by Dead Cells, Prince of Persia, and no doubt many other classics of the genre. Players will take control of the titular Blue, a so-called young guardian, in her quest to reclaim her fallen world that's gotten into the hands of the corrupted. There's a demo you can pick up via Blue's Steam homepage, and having spent some time with it over the past couple of days, the action and combat feel fast-paced, with players needing a deftness and skill set to recognise patterns and to be able to strike back and outmaneuver their enemies accordingly. Blue has an expected shipping date at some point next year, with it coming to PC and consoles. Backer awards include a physical copy of the game, the ability to join the devs for chats, access to alpha code, right up to having the option to design an NPC to be featured within the game. If you fancy checking out the demo to Blue, you can find a link down there in the video description. Up next, and with 2 or so days to go in its campaign as this video airs, Unbeatable has taken well over 200,000 US dollars in funding versus a $50,000 goal. It's a 2-button arcade-style rhythm game with exploration and mini-game elements where you play as Beat in a world in which music is illegal, and it's your role to try and fix this. We're thinking Unbeatable looks absolutely incredible, as of course it also sounds utterly fabulous. In what's a welcome and interesting accessibility move, the game will ship with an assist mode, which will enable players to make progress within the game even if their rhythm skills aren't pinpoint perfect, which will allow players to focus on the overall story and exploration sections. In what's becoming a welcome trend within the KSA campaigns, you can pick up a demo of this game over on Steam for free, and like Blue from earlier in this video, you can find a link to it down in the description. With more than 20 days to go from the day this video is published, up next we have Nadir, a Slay the Spire meets Darkest Dungeon roguelike deck building JRPG that's also inspired by Dante's Divine Comedy, that comes from the developers who brought us Alder's Blood. The team have a goal of 30,000 euros, which is just over the 36,000 US dollar mark. Like the 2 previous games, the developers have a demo which you're able to pick up, which shows Nadir's monochrome art style that's full of high contrast, all inspired by the likes of Frank Miller's Sin City, Hellboy, and the works of Sergio Toppi. The campaign has a delivery date of October 2021, with it expected out on PC via Steam and GOG, with it also coming to the Switch, PlayStation 4, and the Xbox One. Next up, and already funded past its goal of just over 20,000 US dollars, and with more than 20 days still to go in its campaign, Lucy Dreaming is an old school pixel art point and click adventure, where players will split their time between her dreams and reality. Influenced by classic point and click adventures of the 90s and British comedy classics such as Blackadder and Monty Python, it's full of sarcastic and barbed humour, with it being fully voiced and comes with around 8 to 10 hours of playtime. Like nearly all of the games featured in this episode, you can play the Lucy Dreaming demo, which offers between 30 and 60 minutes of playtime, with it acting as a prequel, with it containing some wonderful puzzling sections, and apparently no spoilers for the full game. Lucy Dreaming will be coming first to PC, with a stretch goal to help it come to iOS and Android platforms. Next up, and expected out later in the year, Flock of Dogs is a fantastical looking road trip through the sky with local and online co-op for up to 8 players. That's right, in this one, you'll be taking to the sky by way of flying dogs, where you're also able to team up and buddy up with a friendly sky whale, which in turn acts as a kind of living airship to store and stash your inventory before battling monsters and then journeying to something called the Flying Festival at the end of the Air River. Flock of Dogs just so looks very charming and endearing, with it having around a week to go from the date this video airs, and it's having just gone past its funding goal of $10,000. Interestingly, each copy of Flock of Dogs comes with what's called a friend slot. Here you're able to invite a pal to join you playing the game online for free. Now that's a nice little touch. Flock of Dogs is expected out in early access on Steam this coming autumn, with a full launch window of Q1 the following year, with perhaps a console rollout by the end of 2022. Moving on, and with OddFauna, Secret of the Terrabeast, we have a game that reached its initial funding goal of $35,000 in just 3 hours. And with 3 or so days to go until the campaign ends, the team have brought in close to a cool $200,000. Incidentally, most of the initial success came from the developers having already grown a lively and dedicated fan base by way of their Discord, Twitter and Instagram pages. Either way, OddFauna is expected out in early access towards the first quarter of 2022, with it all being a colourful sandbox open world where you're able to farm, sculpt and craft items, all on the back of something that's called a Terrabeast. The developers, a husband and wife team, have called this a living, breathing world that players get to explore and help grow, all within a survival, growing game, with everything having been hand sculpted, giving it a unique and distinctive art style.
What would you do if you were the richest man in the universe? Well, I am the richest man in the universe, and I bought a planet!
Up now, and the last but one game to feature in this May Kickstarter video game rundown is Bulletville, which is a PvP multiplayer parkour hero-based shooter. Players will pick their character from a selection of heroes before heading into the battle zone to fight each other until there's only one player left standing. As could be expected, the heroes have their own skills, weapons and special abilities, with the game being set within a futuristic universe of New Montana, a place where there are no laws, with it also being full of riches and treasure. The team are looking to raise $100,000, with the money being spent to aid the development of the game, to grow their team, and to simply do more with the time available, while staying free from publisher or big corporation influence. Now, we know what many of you will be thinking when looking at Bulletville. In a sea of so many games like it, successful games with huge followers and players, is there any space for something, well, that looks like this? Perhaps so, perhaps not. In any case, the game is expected out towards the end of the year on PC, with consoles and mobile versions to launch in 2022. With 18 or so days to go from this point the video goes up, the team are about a quarter of the way in reaching their goals. Up now, and the last game on this rundown, we have Spirit Swap, a game that hit its $75,000 funding target in 35 hours, with it now sitting at over $120 raised with just about a week still to go. Spirit Swap is designed as a match 3 game with narrative storytelling, with the developers having said the story is heavily inspired by the system Hades used, where things and plot lines unlock themselves the deeper and further players get into it, which in turn helps keep players coming back. There's a demo which can be picked up via the game's Steam homepage, and so far the gameplay loop is already looking polished and has that, oh, just one more play pull to it. As for the story, well, it's all fully inclusive and seems to come with a cast of witches and demons, with also looking to add a fresh look on Middle Eastern fantasy with creators from the region. Spirit Swap is currently in development for the PC, with an estimated delivery of Q4 2022. And there we go, that's all we have time for this video. Many thanks for watching, and if you've liked the video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. And while you're here, feel free to let us know in the comments which games from this list or elsewhere you're most looking forward to. All the best, and we'll see you all again here soon for another indie game video.